Aaron Blake is a senior political reporter for The Washington Post. He joins us now from Washington. Great to have you here.
Thanks for having me.
So you heard the president heaping praise on his new chief of staff earlier. What are some of the advantages and disadvantages of having General Kelly in this new role?
Well, I think the one big advantage that most everybody is pointing to is that he's got a reputation for being a disciplinarian, really kind of bringing order to matters, saying what he thinks and not being afraid of alienating other people, of keeping them in line. This is a White House that from day one has been marked by warring factions, leaks coming out about other people in the administration who you may not be allied with. And so I think that is probably the chief advantage here, if he can somehow rein that in, get people on the same page. The big downside, I think, is that, this is not a guy who has a lot of political experience in the political nitty-gritty. That was also, by the way, a criticism that you could have made of Reince Priebus. He was a fundraiser and he was a party chairman, but he had never really worked on the legislative side of things. That's all going to be new to John Kelly. And so for a White House that still doesn't have a signature piece of legislation, they've got yet another kind of political novice to some degree occupying the most senior position in the White House staff.
Aaron, how about in terms of General Kelly's appointment to Chief of Staff? How does that square with the elevation of Anthony Scaramucci to Communications Director? Just last week, we heard Scaramucci say that he reports directly to the president.
Yeah, it's really confusing right now. A week apart, you had the installation of a White House Communications Director who almost immediately started kind of wrecking shop and increased the tension within the staff. And then a week later, we have somebody brought in who's supposedly brought in for discipline reasons. We also don't know exactly what the setup is right now. Kellyanne Conway was asked about this on the Sunday shows over the weekend. She didn't have an answer about whether she and Scaramucci were reporting to the chief of staff or the president. It's widely believed, though, that John Kelly would not have taken this job if he didn't believe that everybody would be reporting to him to some degree or another. So I guess we're going to see what Scaramucci does in the days ahead, what other people do in the days ahead. But it's going to be very difficult for him to be the disciplinarian that he's supposed to be if he doesn't actually have control over the staff that, as chief of staff, he's supposed to have control over.
A lot to look for in the weeks to come. Now, we mentioned that the president held a full cabinet meeting after General Kelly's swearing in, which means he came face to face with Jeff Sessions. What can you tell us about the state of their relationship following all of that public criticism from the president?
Well, it seems to have died down a little bit. There was a stretch there for several days where the president was doing something, generally tweeting about Jeff Sessions, debuted a number of attacks on him, not just the recusal decision, but what he was doing as Attorney General. He seems to have backed off of that. Now, whether that's because he has decided that Sessions has to stay and that he doesn't want to do this anymore, whether he's been prevailed upon by people advising him against that course of action, or it also could be that the Department of Justice has started to press forward with something that Trump has asked for, which is that investigation of some of these leaks that have come out of the White House, out of the administration. So perhaps Trump feels to some degree or another that his message has been received, that Sessions is going to kind of have been brought to heel.
Aaron, at the tail end of the cabinet meeting, the president did respond to one question about North Korea. Let's take a listen to what he had to say and talk about it on the other side.
We'll handle North Korea. We're going to be able to handle them. It will be handled. We handle everything. Thank you very much.
We handle everything. Aaron, that's similar to what we've heard from the president following previous North Korean missile tests. But is there any indication that we could approach a shift in policy here?
We don't really know what the policy is at this point. The president seems to kind of bounce around between ideas on this subject. Most notably, you've seen him try to ally with China on this. More recently, he's had some very critical comments about what China is or isn't doing with regards to North Korea. I take the comments by the president today as not really saying much of anything. He likes to say that things are going to be great, that he's going to solve everything. But until we know what the actual policy is, until we see the concrete action, It's more talking about the results than the actual methods.
All right, Aaron Blake of the Washington Post, thanks so much.
Thank you.